So I went on the internet to my old friend's internet archive at archive.org. This is like a depository of all kinds of media clips from the past and the present, and anybody can do it and upload it. And it's for public access, and you can browse around. So I went on here looking for stuff about Donald Trump, and I was really surprised to find this old clip where he and his friend Giuliani are doing this little gag here, and Giuliani is literally in drag. Wow.
You know, you're really beautiful. And a woman that looks like that has to have her own special scent.
Oh, thank you. Maybe you could tell me what you think of this scent.
I like that.
This may be the best of all. Oh, you dirty boy, you. Oh. Donald, I thought you were a gentleman.
You can't say I didn't try.
Younger people weren't around for the past several decades when Donald Trump was already a high profile person in the mass media. And it's not for nothing, he did that himself. He put himself out there any chance he got. And he comes on next here with a McDonald's commercial where he's talking about a burger and talking to Grimace.
I don't know how you do it. I put together some really impressive deals. But this thing you've pulled off, it's amazing. A big and tasty for just $1? How do you do it? What's your secret?
Got a buck? You're in luck. Because you can get a delicious beefy big and tasty, a McChicken sandwich, and lots of your other favorites on McDonald's Dollar Menu every day.
Together, Grimace, we could own this town.
The following is a clip to behold. It's 33 years old from 1987, and here Donald Trump is appearing on the Phil Donahue Show, calm and collected, no matter how rude or obnoxious Phil Donahue likes to play himself off, and watch how Donald Trump talks directly to the audience.
Worth 800 million bucks. I read it in the paper. And you're not even, are you 40?
I'm 41.
41.
41.
I want to show you what he just bought. He bought Marjorie Merriweather Post's 150 rooms. 56 bedrooms this guy's got. In Palm, show him, Brian. This is Mar-a-Lago. That's an aerial view. Now listen to this. I think there are 2 pictures here, are there not? You've got to see this place. Look at this. He has a staff of 50, 30 security guards, and this guy can't buy your lunch after Black Monday. How did you do? And you must have lost your shirt. Come on.
No, I was lucky. I was out of the market pretty much, Phil. Like you, and like a lot of others. I think most of the people in your group, I don't suspect too many of you were in the stock market during the little crash. Couple were. I wasn't. I like real estate better.
This, when he graduated from high school, he had from college, he had $200,000. Went to the Wharton School of Finance, University of Pittsburgh.
No,
I'll tell you.
No, University of Pennsylvania.
I'm sorry, University of Pennsylvania. I'll tell you this. You know, I kind of, after reading your book, I kind of like your father better than you.
He's a nice guy. You have good taste. He's a good guy.
Show him, number one. Let's just try and briefly give you a bio here. This is Fred Trump, age 80-something.
Yeah, he's 81.
81. He built middle-income housing in Queens and Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm.
And little Donald would go along and rummage around the construction sites. And obviously his father taught him a thing or two along the way. Look, let's see number 3. Here's 12-year-old Donald inspecting, checking out the geology. I don't know what you're doing there, but now listen to this. Your parents, enlightened as they were, sent you to, next slide, the New York Military Academy. Only you went not in this uniform. Is that somewhere in the computer? There you look at the proud parents, and Obviously, the strap is so you'll keep your mouth shut. Something, and your graduation photo, next slide. Just give them a quick trip here. Look at this. So you came out disciplined. You probably said yes, sir, no, sir, and all those.
It was a good education. It was a good training. It was a good training. I enjoyed it.
In this audio clip, Donald Trump is speaking by phone with a radio talk show host. And what's interesting about this is you'll notice that he's speaking about China and NAFTA in much the same way that he's spoken about China and NAFTA these days.
Notice up in the corner, although I couldn't hear it, was commentary being given by Donald Trump. So amongst all these heavy hitters, I said, hey, guys, I got an emergency call. I went into the side room, and for the next 10 minutes, Donald Trump, you were like right on fire, right on point, telling the truth about President who was coming to meet the President of the United States for a second sit-down discussion. Absolutely the best commentary I've ever heard in describing an arrival of an international foreign dignitary.
Well, thank you, Curtis. I mean, it's pretty obvious to me that that's the only thing to really be done. I mean, what was said was that China has totally taken advantage of this country. Our jobs are being moved out to China. We're rebuilding China, and we have all the cards. And people don't realize. They say, oh, they have our debt. They have our debt. Lots of banks have debt, and they don't end up doing too well. We have all the cards because if we start either stop buying from them or start taxing the hell out of them, that debt gets paid off immediately, very quickly. And we have all of the power, and Obama and the group are there. And you probably heard me say, will you drop to your knees? Will the president of this country drop to his knees as he leaves the airplane? And it's very sad what's happening. China is absolutely ripping this country. They're manipulating their currency. I buy a lot of different products, unfortunately, from China because they're not made in this country anymore. We're not making anything anymore. It's being made in China, largely because of a real manipulation of their currency. It's very, very hard for this country and our companies to compete. And if we don't get smart, unemployment will not only not go down, it'll go up. In fact, if you heard the other day, Ben Bernanke said that he thinks it's 5 or 6 years before unemployment starts to come down. Well, he's wrong, because the jobs are moving to China and other countries. You look at Mexico, what they're doing with NAFTA, which has turned out to be a total catastrophe. I mean, it's really, really sad the way we're running this country. And honestly, we will not have a great country for long if it keeps going like that.
In this next audio clip, Donald Trump is having a little bit of an argument with Wolf Blitzer on CNN about Obama's birth certificate. And, look, that horse has been well kicked and it's over with now. Obama's gone. But this is how Donald Trump felt about it.
So here he went on Wolf Blitzer yesterday.
You know what? Everybody's entitled to their opinion, Wolf. You know my opinion, you know his opinion, and that's fine.
But the state of Hawaii says it's not an opinion, it's a fact.
No, I don't think so. I think if you look at the birth certificate, take a look, and you tell me, really, you analyze the birth certificate. There are many people that don't agree with that birth certificate. They don't think it's authentic, Wolf.
I don't know when you say many people who don't agree.
Many people.
Like who? Give me a name of somebody in a position of authority in Hawaii who says, but give me a name.
There are many people, I don't give names.
Donald Trump is never shy about giving his opinion, never was, and here he is talking to somebody about the World Trade Center attack, and he's stating that he thinks extra bombs were used with those airplanes because how could they crash through that solid outer shell of steel? Well, that outer shell was in pieces, not one solid piece. I think the connection points were also weak points.
Debris.
Donald, you're probably the best known builder, particularly of great buildings in the city. There's a great deal of question about whether or not the damage and the ultimate destruction of the buildings was caused by the airplanes, by architectural defect, or possibly by bombs or aftershocks. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, it was an architectural defect. You know, the World Trade Center was always known as a very, very strong building. Don't forget, that took a big bomb in the basement. Now, the basement is the most vulnerable place because that's your foundation. And it withstood that. And I got to see that area about 3 or 4 days after it took place because one of my structural engineers actually took me for a tour. because he did the building. And I said, I can't believe it. The building was standing solid, and half of the columns were blown out. I mean, so this was an unbelievably powerful building. If you know anything about structure, it was one of the first buildings that was built from the outside. The steel, the reason the World Trade Center had such narrow windows is that in between all the windows, you had the steel on the outside. So you had the steel on the outside of the building. That's why when I first looked, and you had big, heavy I-beams, when I first looked at it, I couldn't believe it because there was a hole in the steel. And this is steel that was, you remember the width of the windows in the World Trade Center, folks. I think you know, if you were ever up there, they were quite narrow. And in between was this heavy steel. I said, how could a plane, even a 767 or 747, or whatever it might have been, how could it possibly go through the steel? I happen to think that they had not only a plane, but they had bombs that exploded almost simultaneously, because I just can't imagine anything being able to go through that wall. Most buildings are built with the steel is on the inside around the elevator shaft. This one was built from the outside, which is the strongest structure you can have, and it was almost just like a can of soup.
You know, Donald, we were looking at pictures all morning long of that plane coming into building number 2, and when you see that approach the far side, and then all of a sudden, within a matter of a millisecond, the explosion pops out the other side.
Right. I just think that it was a plane with more than just fuel. I think, obviously, they were very big planes. They were going very rapidly, because I was also watching where the plane seemed to be not only going fast, it seemed to be coming down.
These clips are just the tip of the iceberg. Archive.org has a lot of media clips that have been uploaded regarding Donald Trump. I mean, a lot. I really couldn't find anything with Howard Stern, and I know he has had interviews with Howard Stern, even if just by phone. But I didn't get to the end of it. I just got tired of looking. It just seemed like a bottomless pit. Granted, a lot of the stuff that's been uploaded is criticisms and, you know, people having rotten things to say about him. Hey, they can do that all day long. This guy is thick-skinned. He's been in the mass media for so many damn years now. No matter what they say, it's just go ahead. Bloviate away. You know, he's been through it all. He's even been roasted on Comedy Central. He sat there and he just took it all. No problem. He got through it. He's the master of mass media. You folks out there that are trying to destroy him using news media and other forms of criticism, you're just spinning your wheels. Really. I mean, he's got it all. I like the way he talks directly to people. He's basically the master of Twitter. What, 70 million followers or so? Give me a break. Nobody can beat that. So, look, why don't you just go with the flow? You know, curb your hatred. Curb the Democrat politics. You know, the Democrats have been lying for decades. They've been involved in all kinds of conspiracy theories and corruption and plots. And, hey, do yourself a favor. Back off. They need a break. We need a break from them. Let's love our country, go with somebody that loves his country too, and gives us everything we need as United States citizens.